Would you like me to make a motion about?
I don't know if we need a motion.
Okay.
I can provide some.
Students and,
Oh, that, yes.
okay, so I would like to make a motion that members of the staff, whether they live in the district or not, be allowed to speak tonight at this public hearing, and also that students, should they be here and wish to speak, that they be allowed to speak.
A second.
Just a little history.
There's a motion and second.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm sorry. Chris?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Charlie?
Aye.
Sandy? Aye. And I say aye. So that's 5-0-0. Okay, Reuben?
so a little bit of history. In March 2025, the voters voted to choose a budget that was 3 million lower than the school board's suggested budget. And so some cuts at that point in time were made. We had 20 days in order to report all of that to the state. And these, which are copied from slides during that time frame when we were discussing all of the cuts, are the areas that we removed the 3 million from. At another meeting, we talked about trying to be able to retain certain services for a year, largely having to do with the pre-K, the 4-year-old pre-K program, and also athletics and co-curriculars. So there were also some teachers on that as well, French, music, some of the, and so for a total of about 1,126,245, we talked about this day, August 4th, having taking place, and us potentially having the money to retain. The board has retained enough money to be able to consider this right now. And so the conversation on the table during this public hearing is whether or not the board will vote to use $1,126,245 of the unassigned retention, and for the purpose of these items that are listed here, which are the same items that we presented back in March and April. The only difference here is rather than a music teacher, the events took place that the music teacher moved along, and we had an opportunity to keep both library media specialists in our elementary schools. And so that decision was made to keep the library media specialists in there. But everything else, the French teacher, the pre-K paraeducators, the pre-K teachers, co-curricular amounts that were reduced, the athletics that were reduced, the SAU director position that was reduced during that time frame. And in the athletics, that $366,978 amount, that if you look over to the left of the screen, that includes the athletic trainer, coaches, referees, transportation, salaries. So all of that, we have to, before we start this year, if we're going to do this, we have to name what we're going to be using the money for and have it approved by the board in advance. Person.
Oh, yep. Come on up. Please come to the microphone. State your name. I'm sorry, can you come to the microphone? And even though we know who you are, can you state your name and where you're from?
Get Brummer Ringe. Whoops.
Thank you.
Almost ran into you. You explained, okay, the use of the 1,126,000. How are you going to make up the 1,000,008 that where your budget was cut?
well, make up the almost 2 million more after this that the budget was cut. Well, we removed the other positions that we said we would remove, and we removed other programming and supplies and things of that nature. For instance, paint and carpet cycle of $120,000 was removed. So
Substantial
Yeah.
deficit
yes,
for the school.
Yeah.
Okay.
Summer programs. Come on up to the microphone. Again, please. That's right. Again, state your name and the town that you're from, please.
Dan Whitney from Ringe. Ruben, I don't want to correct you. I want to make sure because you said something different than what's on the screen. You described the last as salaries as opposed to supplies.
salaries of the athletic trainer, coaches, referee costs, and then yes, supplies should be the last. Yes,
Okay.
you are correct.
The reason I am bringing that up, this is the right thing to be doing. I'm glad we got to this point. I wish we never had to get to this point. But one thing that we have to do looking forward to can't believe I'm saying this, 26, 27, is that there's probably going to be more scrutiny than we've had in my entire lifetime of being on that side or out here. And little things like using the wrong word or having the wrong number in something we send out. Absolutely understandable human mistake. But unfortunately, it's something that can be pounced on. And we just have to make sure, whether it's a second or third set of eyes, that anything we say, anything we do, that we put the imprimatur of JR on has to be correct.
Thank you.
Take comments online. Yep, come on up.
Good evening. My name is Taylor Ratcliffe, and I'm a Ringe resident. I'm here as a community member and a voter and a parent. First and foremost, although I am a part-time employee of the school district and my husband does sit on the school board, but I speak for myself. I often tune in from home to these meetings, so I pay attention and I'm listening as you all meet on your Monday nights. And I'd like to say I appreciate the work that the board has done to be fiscally responsible, but keeping children at the heart of their conversations and their decisions has meant the most to me. This is a difficult position for our school board to be in. That being said, the result of tonight's hearing and the subsequent vote, I feel, has no winners. If our school board votes to use these funds, all children in our community will continue to have access to the important offerings that Ruben just outlined, such as the pre-K, the sports, the co-curriculars, the languages. Those are all very important. That may feel like a victory, though it is a sad and temporary response to the ill thought out and short-sighted call to drastically reduce the public school funding. It will also all but deplete our emergency funds. Should our school board vote against using these funds, children from our community, and I mean children from the ones that attend local charter schools, to our homeschool children, to the majority of the children in our community who use our public school, will not have access to these things. They will all be wiped from existence for us to access. There are some of us who are still paying attention and coming to these meetings, and it is very important that we do so. I support the school board decision to use these funds to keep these programs alive and our schools functioning as they should be for children in our community for the next year. But I do so aware that this act is short-lived and the community members who are outraged and disgusted with the position our schools and children have been put in need to continue to do the work to show up for our schools and not allow this to be repeated in 2026. Thank you.
Are there any comments online?
There have been no submissions into the Q&A chat.
The chat's
Disabled.
disabled.
I'm sorry, to the people who are watching from home, that the chat is disabled. It's unfortunate. Are there any other comments or questions?
Hello, I'm Jeff Langille from Jaffrey. I just wanted to come up here and commend you on what a remarkable job you've really done with what you've been given here. I'm 100% in support of the plan you've outlined. I'm really happy to see how you guys have pulled this together to make these things work. The programming that is up here is really immeasurable to the mental, physical well-being of our children in this community. I'd also like to commend every one of you for having a voice here and for voting your voice. I know there was some talk about conflicts of interest and stuff of that matter, but we live in small towns. Everyone knows everyone's business, and you've all been put up here to vote. And I really like seeing everybody voting their mind and continuing to do so. So thank you all for your work here. And I hope you vote in support of this plan. I know it's unfortunate that we're in this position, but this, I believe, is the best path forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, John. First of all, thank you, and I want to mention our representative, Dick Ames, who supported public education and all his efforts, because he's probably attending one of his last meetings of his legislative session. Is that correct, Dick? Well, keep it up. Just a general comment. In talking to, some of the people in Ranger Jaffrey, to have an indiscriminate motion to reduce the budget by $3 million, not knowing the consequences. But when you look into them, we're tearing down our community, our respect for our public education, for our teachers, and more important, our students and the future of the Jaffrey Ridge school system. I can't believe that now I'm 81, been through the school system, and it stands at a very low point in my life, being a resident, that we can't support our public education, our students, and we're not building our community. We're tearing it down. Because if we don't build a community, our community will die. We need support. We need communications. And I think if we can get the message out, we can make something, positive happen rather than a negative. I mean, aren't there school teachers here? Do you feel respected? Supported? No. Some of them might even leave because of that lack of support. We can make a difference, and hopefully that can start tonight. Thank you for your due diligence and restoring some of the funds. But we have a lot of work to do in the future. Thank you.
So good afternoon, good evening. And I've been outed, so I'm here to say a few words. What I want to say, this is going to be my last year in the legislature, and I spent a lot of time on the school funding issue. This past early in this year, the state Supreme Court issued a decision saying that the state was not in compliance with the Constitution when it comes to school aid. And the way in which we're not in compliance is that we're too low. And we're too low, particularly for places like Jaffrey, which have disproportionately low property values in our town to contend with, as well as high numbers of kids that are of low income or moderate income backgrounds. And so the Supreme Court has spoken, and it didn't give a deadline for this legislature to resolve this, but it suggested essentially that this next year is pivotal. And so I wanted to invite all of you to feel free. In fact, please do come forward. And I'm on the Education Funding Committee in the House. I'm on a subcommittee of that committee that is going to contend with bills that address this issue this fall and next year. And hopefully we can make a dent, a good dent in this situation. That's what we'll be trying to do. And I want to echo as well the words that were said in praise of and support of what you guys are doing. It's an essential responsibility, and I'm glad that it's being handled so well. Thank you.
And before you walk away, just for the record, can you state your name and the town that you're from? I'm sorry.
Sure. I'm Dick Ames. I'm from Jaffrey. I'm a state representative.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Susan Shaw Sarles from Ringe. And first of all, thank you, school board and administration for all of your work to make sure in the 25-26 school year, our students will have these opportunities. What I would like to ask is that you spend some time considering how moving forward you will respond to false information that is spread throughout the community, sometimes even during the course of a public meeting. And I fully understand your policy of not responding to public comments. It's certainly not healthy to get into a negative back and forth. And yet I feel like I sat in meetings and heard people say things that too many people walked away and took as truth because they didn't hear what I believe was the truth from school board or other representatives. So that's my request, is that you spend some time before the budget season thinking about that issue. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to make a comment.
Okay.
I'd just like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. And as a number of you have said, we've got a long-term problem here, and we need to be prepared to address it during the budget season, which for us starts in early November, but also all through the coming months before the March vote. We need to stay behind our schools and be out there in the public and do as Susan just said, which is to, counteract false information. We've got a very good school system. We're very lucky to have the professionals that we have. And we see the results in the students that come out of our schools, and we need to protect that. So thank you all for being here.
Do we close this portion out?
If there's no other one.
Right.
Yes.
Is there anyone else who'd like to come up and make a comment, question? Mm. Okay. I guess we'll make a motion to adjourn the public hearing portion of our evening and return to the public school board meeting.
Okay, I make that motion that we adjourn the hearing.
Second,
I'll second.
Chris,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Charlie?
Aye.
Sandy? Aye. And I say aye, so that's 5